The four Gospels do not begin in the same place. Matthew begins with Abraham. After a brief prologue, Luke's narrative begins in the temple. John reaches back beyond creation. Mark opens in the wilderness beside the Jordan. Four doors then, but the first shared threshold of Yeshua's public appearance is water. Mark gives no assent to a stage. Yeshua comes from Galilee, joins the people who have gone out to John, and enters the river before any narrated public work. In those days, Yeshua came from Nazareth of Galilee and was immersed by John in the Jordan. And immediately, as he came up out of the water, he saw the heavens being torn open and the Spirit descending like a dove upon him. And a voice came from the heavens, "You are my Son, the Beloved. In you I delight." Just before Yeshua appears, John leaves a promise hanging over the river. He does not name the one he awaits. He says, «Έρχεται ο ισχυρότερος μου ο πίσω μου. The one stronger than I is coming after me». Then the promised coming contracts into two quiet words, «Ήλθεν Ιησούς». Mark moves from «Έρχεται» is coming to «Ήλθεν» came. The promise has taken the road from Nazareth. No palace, no procession, only a Galilean entering the press of bodies beside the river. Mark's stronger one first appears by placing himself in John's hands. He came is active, he was immersed is passive. Strength enters the scene as consent. Yeshua chooses the descent, then yields his body to it. This descent carries weight. Mark has named John's immersion an immersion of repentance for the forgiveness of sins, and Judea and Jerusalem come confessing. Josephus reports in Antiquities 18:116-119 that John called people to righteousness toward one another and reverence toward God, with a washing following a life already turned. John's immersion was more than a routine washing. It belonged to an urgent summons to return. Mark does not tell us that Yeshua confesses, explains himself, or stands apart. He places him in the water among a people returning to God. Delitzsch's 19th century Hebrew translation lets the movement sound in biblical cadence. Vayavo Yeshua, Vaitavel. Delitzsch is a translation, not Mark's original language, yet its Vav-led rhythm matters. Vayavo, Vayitavel. He came and was immersed. Arrival opens into yielding. Yeshua enters as a son of Israel among his people. Israel's water is his own covenantal world, neither scenery nor somebody else's story. His singular vocation is disclosed from within that solidarity. He shares the people's descent. The voice will disclose who has entered with them. The solidarity is real enough to bear the scene's weight and precise enough to keep his calling unblurred. The witnesses preserve the scene without dissolving their differences. Mark is compressed. Yeshua sees the heavens torn and the voice says, "You are my son." Matthew remembers John's protest, Yeshua's answer about fulfilling righteousness, and the outward, "This is my son." Luke places him among all the people, praying as heaven opens and the Spirit descends in bodily form. John gives the Baptist's remembered testimony. The Spirit descended and remained, revealing Yeshua to Israel. These are four testimonies, not one camera angle. Their distinct pressures deepen the water: consent, prayer, solidarity, abiding spirit, disclosure. Harmony listens to each witness without making one silence the others. Later in Mark, Yeshua will address the Father as Abba. At the Jordan, that relation is heard from the other side. The heavenly voice lets two currents in Israel's scriptures resonate without collapsing them into a single combined quotation. Royal sonship sounds first from Psalm 2. Beni Ata. Psalm 2 speaks within Israel's royal world. "You are my son" names the king's relation and vocation. "Today I have begotten you" belongs to enthronement, not biological birth. The psalm binds sonship to reign and calling. It does not ask us to imagine that relationship first came into being at the water. At the Jordan, that royal resonance sounds together with Isaiah 42. Behiri ratzta nafshi, natati ruhi alav. Isaiah joins chosen servant, delight, and spirit. Later Jewish voices keep the passage alive in different directions. Rashi reads the servant as Jacob, as Israel. Radak reads him as the King Messiah. They are distinct, much later witnesses, never proof of what every first-century listener must have heard. Yet their difference protects the depth of Israel's own text. Yeshua's vocation rises from within that covenantal field: son, servant, spirit-bearer. The voice does not make him son at the river. It unveils who he is and names the work that follows. And notice the order. Before teaching, before healing, before conflict, delight is spoken. Vocation grows from gift. It does not purchase it. Abba's delight is spoken before public work. It grounds the freedom from which vocation unfolds. This is radical grace. Life received before life is offered. Communion before mission. Belovedness carrying the weight of response rather than cancelling it. Mark now presses one verb until the sky itself carries the wound. The heavens are not merely opened, they are schizomenus to suranos. The tearing resonates with Israel's cry in Isaiah 63:19b in Hebrew and Jewish numbering, 64:1 in common Christian numbering, that God would tear the heavens and come down. This is narrative resonance, not a claim of direct quotation. Mark returns to the same verb family at the cross, when the temple curtain is torn from top to bottom and the centurion names Yeshua Son of God. Jordan and cross answer one another across the gospel. The downward motion becomes a hidden axis of Mark's story. Yeshua descends. The Spirit descends. At the river and in death, Yeshua's own descent and self-giving disclose sonship without domination. He goes all the way down. Return to the movement itself. He comes, he is immersed. The heavens are torn. The Spirit descends. Abba speaks. Yeshua's sonship is singular. The river does not flatten him into the crowd, and the voice does not lift him away from Israel. His vocation opens from communion with Abba in the Spirit among his people. The disciples' participation in this grace never makes Yeshua one beloved son among many. It draws its life from his singular relation. Here the order becomes participatory. Gift awakens response. Communion bears vocation. Grace does not erase repentance, return, or transformation. It releases them from the machinery of earning life. We enter the work because life has already come toward us. The work will come. It will flow from a delight no work could earn.